Captain Lee Minho walked across the bridge of his spaceship, the UES Harmony. Through the big windows, he could see stars moving past them like bright dots in the dark. His ship was flying toward the edge of the galaxy, far from Earth and the big space cities. "Captain," said Park Ji-ho, the man who worked the radio. "I'm getting a strange signal. Someone needs help, but I can't understand their language." Minho looked at the screen. The signal was coming from a broken ship near a dying star. The ship looked terrible. Big holes were burned into its metal sides. Some parts were melting like they had a sickness. "Can you see anyone inside?" Minho asked. "Yes, sir. But they look like they're dying." Dr. Kim Sora walked up to them. She was the ship's doctor, a smart woman who had saved many lives. "Captain, I looked at the readings from their ship. Whatever is wrong with them, it's killing them fast." Minho knew the rules. The Galactic Council had been very clear when Earth first joined them 6 months ago. Don't talk to the bad aliens. Don't help the criminals. Stay away from the edge of space where dangerous things lived. But looking at the dying ship, Minho felt something in his chest. His grandmother used to say that when someone needed help, you helped them. It didn't matter who they were or what others thought about them. "Get the medical room ready," he said. "We're going to save them." "But sir," said Officer Jung Woo-jin from his chair. "The council said not to help ships like this. They might be pirates." "They might be," Minho agreed. "But they're also dying. And we're not going to watch people die when we can help them." The rescue took 2 hours. The alien ship was full of smoke and strange smells. The beings inside were tall, with green scales like lizards. But they had big, smart eyes that glowed with a soft light. When they looked at Minho, he saw fear, pain, and hope all mixed together. The alien leader was a female. She was hurt badly but still tried to stand when the humans came aboard. Through a broken translation machine, she spoke in a voice that sounded tired and sad. "You risk much to help us," she said. "I am Reska. My people, we are Kathara. The burning sickness takes us all." Dr. Kim worked quickly in the medical room. She had never seen aliens like these before, but sickness was sickness. She took blood samples and ran tests while the Kathara lay on the beds, breathing hard. "Captain," she called after an hour. "You need to see this." Minho came to her lab. On the screen were pictures of tiny things that looked like little machines mixed with living cells. "This isn't a normal sickness," Dr. Kim said, her voice quiet and angry. "Someone made this. It's designed to kill only the Kathara. Look at these patterns." She showed him how the tiny machines attacked only certain parts of the aliens' bodies. Parts that were special to their kind. "This is murder," Minho said. "Worse than murder. This is trying to kill every single one of them." Reska had told them about other ships, other colonies of her people. All of them were dying from the same sickness. The Kathara had asked the Galactic Council for help, but the Council said no. They called the Kathara criminals and terrorists. They said the Kathara deserved to die. "How many of your people are left?" Minho asked Reska. The alien woman's glowing eyes became dim. "Maybe 1 million. Maybe less. The sickness spreads fast. Our children die first." That night, Minho sat alone in his room looking out at the stars. He thought about Earth, about his family, about the choice he had to make. If he helped the Kathara, the Galactic Council would be angry. Earth was new to space politics. They needed friends, not enemies. But he also thought about the children Reska had mentioned. Alien children, but still children. Still young lives that could grow and learn and maybe make the galaxy better someday. Dr. Kim's voice came through the ship's speaker system. "Captain, I think I can make medicine to help them. But I need special materials that only grow on Council worlds. They won't sell them to us if they know what we want them for." "Then we don't tell them," Minho said. "Sir. We don't tell them why we need the materials. We make up another reason." 3 days later, Minho sent a message to Earth Command. He told them about finding the Kathara, about the sickness, about what Dr. Kim had discovered. He asked for permission to help. The answer came back fast and clear: "Do not get involved. Return to Earth immediately. The Council has been contacted. They are not happy." But Minho looked at Reska, who was slowly getting better thanks to Dr. Kim's temporary treatments. He looked at the pictures of Kathara children that she had shown him. And he made a choice that would change everything. "Set course for the nearest Council trading post," he told his crew. "We're going shopping." The galaxy might have given up on the Kathara, but Lee Minho hadn't given up on doing what was right. The message arrived at Earth Command 3 days after Captain Lee Minho had rescued the Kaithara. Admiral Yoon Tae-hyun read it twice, his face getting darker each time. The words were polite, but the meaning was clear as ice. Ambassador Hwang Dae-ho must appear before the High Council immediately. The humans have violated sacred laws. Hwang Dae-ho was Earth's best diplomat. He was calm, smart, and could speak 7 alien languages. But as his ship flew toward the Council's main planet, he felt worried. This was only Earth's second meeting with the galaxy's rulers, and already they were in trouble. The Council building was huge, bigger than anything on Earth. It could hold 10,000 beings from different worlds. When Hwang walked in, he saw creatures he had never imagined. Some looked like giant birds. Others were made of living crystal. Some floated in the air like clouds of gas. High Counselor Veltar stood in the center. He was tall and blue, with 4 arms and eyes like black holes. When he spoke, his voice filled the entire room. "Human," he said, making the word sound dirty. "Your Captain Minho has broken our most important law. He helped the Kaithara. They are criminals. They are dangerous. They must die alone." Hwang stood straight and looked up at the giant alien. "With respect, Counselor, we found people who were sick and dying. We helped them. This is what humans do." The room exploded with angry sounds. Some aliens roared. Others made clicking noises. A few flashed bright lights. Hwang felt very small and very alone. Another council member stepped forward. This one looked like a walking diamond, all sharp edges and bright surfaces. Her name was Zixandra. "The Kaithara tried to fight us 50 years ago," she said, her voice like breaking glass. "They wanted to rule themselves instead of following our laws. So we threw them out. The Vorthak are too different from us. They live in space without air. The Zalani are too small and stupid. All of them are outcasts for good reasons." "What reasons?" Hwang asked. "Being different? Wanting freedom? Being small?" Silence. Veltar's voice shook the walls. "You are new to the galaxy, human. You do not understand how things work. The outcasts are dangerous. They spread crime and chaos wherever they go." But Hwang had read Captain Minho's reports. He knew what Dr. Kim Sora had found. What about the sickness that's killing them? The one that was made in a laboratory? The room went very quiet. Too quiet. "We know nothing of any sickness," Veltar said slowly. "Then why won't you help us cure it? We asked for medical supplies. You said no. Because helping criminals makes you a criminal too." Back on Earth, the government was scared. President Moon Jae-in called an emergency meeting. Around the big table sat generals, scientists, and politicians. Everyone was talking at once. "We have to do what the council wants," said Admiral Yoon. "Earth is just one small planet. The council has thousands of worlds. If they become our enemy, we're finished." "But they are killing innocent people," argued Fleet Commander Choi Min-ji. She was a tough woman who had fought in the Mars Wars. "Dr. Kim's reports are clear. Someone made that plague to murder the Kaithara." "We don't know that the council made it," said Minister Park Sang-ho. "Who else has the technology?" Choi shot back. The argument went on for hours. Outside, people on Earth were watching the news. Some wanted to help the aliens. Others were scared of making the council angry. Protests started in the big cities. Meanwhile, Captain Minho was still flying around the edge of space, finding more sick Kaithara. His ship was now full of refugees. Dr. Kim was working day and night to keep them alive, but she was running out of medicine. "Captain," she said, looking tired. "I found something else. The plague isn't just killing Kaithara. I tested some blood samples from other outcast races. It's designed to kill all of them. Different versions for each species." "Someone is trying to murder everyone the council doesn't like," Minho said. "It looks that way." Ambassador Hwang's meeting with the council lasted 3 days. Each day, they asked the same questions. Each day, they got angrier when he gave the same answers. On the last day, High Counselor Veltar gave Earth an ultimatum. "You have 1 month," he said. "Stop helping the outcasts. Give us Captain Minho and Dr. Kim for trial. Or Earth will join them in exile. We will cut off all trade. No alien technology. No protection from space pirates. No help when your son starts to die in 5 billion years." Hwang felt cold inside. "And if we refuse? Then you become outcasts too. Forever." When Hwang returned to Earth, he brought terrible news. The council wasn't just asking them to stop helping. They were asking Earth to betray people who trusted them. What do we do? President Moon asked. Admiral Choi looked around the room at all the scared faces. Then she smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. We do what's right, she said. And we do it quietly. The official answer went to the council the next day. Earth would comply with their demands. Captain Minho would be ordered home immediately. But late that same night, Admiral Choi sent different orders to ships at the edge of space. Orders that weren't written down anywhere. The real work was about to begin. Admiral Choi Minji sat in her dark office looking at star maps. The official maps showed empty space at the galaxy's edge. But she knew better now. Out there were millions of dying people that nobody cared about. Her computer showed the official message from Earth Command: all ships return immediately. No contact with outcast species. But under her desk was another computer, one that didn't exist in any records. On its screen were different orders. Operation Ghost Ship begins now. Captain Oh Sunyo got his secret orders while his cargo ship was loading food supplies. The message was hidden inside a normal shipping report. Take medical supplies to coordinates 847 Alpha. Tell no one. He smiled. His ship, the UES Quiet Storm, looked like it carried rice and metal parts. But hidden under the floor were hospital beds, medicine makers, and surgery tools. To anyone watching, he was just a trader going to sell Earth goods. Engineer Bae Hyojin was working on something special in her secret workshop. 3 months ago, they had found an empty Vorthak ship floating in space. The council said Vorthak were dangerous because they didn't need air to breathe and could live in the cold of space. But their technology was amazing. Look at this, Bae told her assistant, showing him a piece of crystal that seemed to bend light around itself. The Vorthak can make themselves invisible to most senses. If we can copy this. She worked for weeks, trying to understand how silicon-based life forms thought about physics. Finally, she built a device that could hide a whole spaceship. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. Diplomat Nam Juan had the hardest job. She had to find aliens inside the council who disagreed with their government's policies. This was very dangerous. If she was caught, it would mean war between Earth and the council. She started with small things. At trade meetings, she would mention how sad it was that people were dying of sickness. Some aliens would nod and look uncomfortable. Others would get angry and walk away. But a few would stay and talk quietly. I know what my government says about the outcasts, whispered Trade Minister Kexvol, a bird-like creature with golden feathers. But I have children too. The idea of them dying from a maid sickness, it makes my heart hurt. Would you help if you could? Nam asked carefully. I would try. But I must be very careful. Within 2 months, the secret operation was bigger than anyone had planned. Captain Lee Minho was still officially ordered to return to Earth, but his ship kept having engine problems that forced him to stop at the edge of space. Every time he stopped, he found more refugees. The Kathara leader Reska had become their most important partner. Her people could talk with their minds across huge distances. She could coordinate rescue ships without using radios that the council might hear. 3 more colonies need help, she told Captain Minho, her glowing eyes dim with sadness. The burning sickness reached them yesterday. Many children are already dead. We'll get there, Minho promised. But they also found other outcast species. The Vorthak lived on ships that floated between stars. They looked like living crystals and talked by sending radio signals. Their leader, Christex, was curious about humans. Why do you help us? He transmitted to Captain O's ship. Your council friends will be angry. You gain nothing. Sometimes doing right is enough, O replied. This concept is new to us. But we wish to learn. Our technology is yours to use. The Vorthak were amazing engineers. They could fix anything and build machines that worked in impossible ways. Soon, human ships had Vorthak improvements that made them faster and harder to detect. The Zilani were the biggest surprise. The council called them too stupid to matter, but Dr. Kim Sora discovered they were actually brilliant. They just thought differently than other species. Pipko, their leader, was only 3 feet tall and looked like a walking flower. But when she spoke, her words were wise. Big beings think size means importance, she said in her tiny voice. But virus is small, yet it kills giants. We are small, but our knowledge is vast. We make living computers, ships that heal themselves, medicine that grows like plants. The Zilani's biotechnology was like magic. They could grow buildings, make food from sunlight, and create medicines that adapted to any species. Dr. Kim worked with them to develop better treatments for the plague. But the operation was getting too big to hide. Admiral Yoon Tae-hyun, who wanted to obey the council, was asking questions about missing supplies and ships that should have returned to Earth. "Where is Captain Minho's ship?" he demanded in a staff meeting. "His engine repairs have taken 3 months." Admiral Choi looked innocent. "Space is dangerous. Sometimes repairs take longer than expected. And why are we buying so much medical equipment? Earth's hospitals are well supplied. It's always good to be prepared." But Yoon wasn't stupid. He started investigating, and what he found scared him. Hundreds of ships were involved. Thousands of tons of supplies were missing. And intercepted alien communications mentioned human ships helping outcasts. "The council will find out," he warned Choi privately. "When they do, Earth will pay the price." "Then we better work faster," she replied. The secret network grew stronger every day. Hidden bases in asteroid fields. Mobile hospitals jumping between systems. Former enemies working together, united by human compassion and alien expertise. But across the galaxy, Council intelligence agents were starting to notice patterns. Ships disappearing. Supplies moving to empty systems. Outcast colonies that should be dead were still alive. High Counselor Veltar called an emergency session. His message to Earth was simple and terrifying: "We know what you're doing. Stop now, or face the consequences." The Council's war fleet was the biggest anyone had ever seen. 5,000 ships of all sizes, from small fighters to massive battleships that could destroy planets. They moved through space like a dark cloud, heading straight for Earth. High Counselor Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Judgment. Through the huge windows, he could see Earth getting bigger as they approached. The small blue planet looked helpless and alone. "Send the final message," he told his communication officer. On Earth, President Moon Jae-in received the ultimatum in front of the whole world. Every television and computer screen showed Veltar's angry blue face. "Humans of Earth," the alien leader said, his forearms spread wide. "You have chosen to help criminals instead of joining civilized society. Give us Admiral Choi Min-ji, Captain Lee Min-ho, and Dr. Kim Sora. They will be tried for their crimes. You have 6 hours to decide." "And if we refuse?" President Moon asked. "Then your planet will be blockaded. No ships in or out. No trade. No contact with the galaxy. You will be alone forever." But far from Earth, in the dark spaces between stars, something was happening that the Council didn't expect. Captain Park Ji-sung was monitoring alien communications from his hidden base in an asteroid field. What he heard made him smile. "Reska," he called to the Kathara leader. "Are your people ready?" The tall alien woman's eyes glowed brighter. "We have been ready for 50 years, Captain. Every Kathara in the galaxy can hear my voice. Every ship, every colony, every hiding place. And the Vorthak?" "Christek says his people are in position. The Council never sees silicon beings on their ships. They think we are just rocks floating in space." For months, while the humans had been rescuing refugees, the outcast species had been planning something bigger. The Vorthak, who could survive in the cold of space, had been quietly boarding Council ships during routine stops. They looked like metal parts or computer components, so no one noticed them. The Zilani had created something special, tiny living organisms that could eat the specific type of metal used in Council ship shields. They called them shield bugs. Pip-Ko had personally designed them to work only on Council technology. "The big ships are coming," Reska said, her mental voice reaching Kathara across the galaxy. "It is time to show them that outcasts are not powerless." On Earth, Admiral Choi Min-ji stood in the war room surrounded by screens showing the approaching fleet. Earth's space defense was strong, but not strong enough to fight 5,000 ships. "They'll be here in 4 hours, reported General Kim Tae-jun. "Our missiles might stop some of them, but not enough," Choi finished. She looked tired but not scared. "That's okay. We're not fighting alone." Dr. Kim Sora had been working day and night in her secret laboratory. 3 days ago, she had made a discovery that changed everything. While studying the plague samples, she found something hidden in the computer code of the artificial virus. "Captain," she called to Lee Min-ho, who was commanding the defense of the outer system. "I found it. The source code. This plague wasn't just made by someone in the Council, it was made by the Council's own Biological Weapons Division." "Are you sure?" "The signature is right there in the DNA. Project Clean Sweep, authorized by High Command. They weren't just ignoring the dying outcasts, they created the plague to kill them all." "Can you prove it?" I can do better than that. I can broadcast it. As the Council fleet approached Earth, every communication channel in the galaxy suddenly carried the same message. Dr. Kim's evidence was everywhere, on military frequencies, trade channels, even entertainment broadcasts. The proof was clear and undeniable. The Council had created the plague. They had planned genocide. On many Council ships, crews began arguing. The bird-like Kexvol, whom diplomat Nam Jiwan had secretly befriended, was commanding a battleship called the Swift Wing. When he saw the evidence, he felt sick. "Turn the ship around," he ordered his crew. "Sir?" his first officer asked. "We came here to enforce justice. But we are the criminals. Turn around. We're going home." All across the fleet, similar scenes played out. Some ships obeyed orders and kept flying toward Earth. But others slowed down, stopped, or even turned back. The mighty Council fleet began to break apart. High Counselor Veltar was furious. "Ignore the human lies," he broadcast to his remaining ships. "These outcasts are our enemies. We do what we must to protect civilization." But then the real surprise began. On Veltar's own flagship, strange things started happening. Lights flickered. Shields started failing. Computer systems went crazy. "What's wrong?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir. It's like something is eating our technology from the inside." Deep in the ship's metal walls, Zelani shield bugs were doing their job. And in the computer systems, Vorthak engineers who had been hiding for months started taking control. Christex's voice came through every speaker on the ship. "Greetings, High Counselor. We are the beings you called worthless. Today, you learn what worthless can do." All around Earth, the same thing was happening to Council ships. The outcasts weren't running or hiding anymore. They were fighting back with weapons the Council had never imagined: cooperation, cleverness, and the determination of people who had nothing left to lose. The mighty Council fleet found itself crippled by tiny organisms and outwitted by species they had dismissed as inferior. But the biggest shock was yet to come. As Dr. Kim's evidence spread across the galaxy, entire worlds began to rebel against the Council that had lied to them for centuries. The war ended not with explosions or surrender, but with truth spreading like wildfire across the galaxy. On 1,000 different worlds, people watched Dr. Kim Sora's evidence and finally understood what their leaders had done. On the water world of Aquanus, the dolphin-like Cetri swam in angry circles around their underwater cities. Their leader, Wavesinger Kolos, sent a message to all Council ships: "If you lied about the outcasts, what else have you lied about?" Cetri's ships returned home immediately. The crystal beings of Silicata Prime simply stopped talking to the Council completely. Their whole planet went silent, cutting off the rare minerals that powered half the galaxy's technology. Even Veltar's own people, the proud Altarians, began asking uncomfortable questions. On their home world, protests filled the sky cities. Blue-skinned citizens held signs that said "Truth before honor," and "What did we really do?" High Counselor Veltar watched his mighty fleet fall apart around him. Ships were leaving every hour. Those that remained were crippled by Zelani organisms and Vorthak sabotage. His own flagship could barely move. "Sir," his communication officer said nervously, "we're getting messages from the home worlds. The governments want to recall all military forces immediately." "Cowards," Veltar growled. "All of them. Don't they understand that order must be maintained?" "What order?" asked Captain Osunyo, whose voice suddenly came through the ship's speakers. "The order that creates plagues to murder children? The order that calls people criminals for being different?" Ambassador Huang Deho was working 18 hours a day in the biggest diplomatic effort in galactic history. On Earth, representatives from over 200 species were arriving for emergency talks. Some came openly. Others came in secret, afraid their governments would be angry. The meetings were chaos at first. Too many languages, too many different ways of thinking, too many old hatreds and fears. But slowly, with patience and lots of translation computers, they began to understand each other. "We propose something new," Huang announced to the crowded assembly hall. "Not a council of the powerful ruling the weak, but an assembly where everyone has a voice. Big worlds, small worlds, old species, new species, all equal." Trade Minister Kexvol, whose golden feathers were now dim with shame, spoke for many of his people. "The Kestani Confederation formally apologizes for our part in the Council's crimes. We ask only for a chance to make things right." The Vorthak leader Christex, appearing as a hologram made of light, had a simple message: silicon and carbon, gas and liquid, energy and matter, all are different forms of life. All deserve respect. We support this new assembly. Even some former council species joined. The small, furry Mikari had always been uncomfortable with the council's harsh rules. Their representative, a creature that looked like a talking teddy bear, squeaked his support in a tiny voice that somehow carried great authority. But the real work was happening in space, where the outcasts were building something amazing. Captain Lee Minho stood on the bridge of his ship, now renamed the UES Second Chance, watching construction workers from a dozen different species build the first integrated space station. Kathara workers used their mental powers to coordinate complex construction across vast distances. Vorthak engineers created impossible structures that seemed to defy physics. Zelani biotechnology grew living walls that could repair themselves and provide clean air and water. And humans did what they did best, they made sure everyone worked together. It's beautiful, said Dr. Kim Sora, watching a group of young beings from different species playing together in the station's garden. There were human children, Kathara younglings with their bright eyes, tiny Zelani sprouts, and even young Vorthak that looked like dancing crystals. They don't see differences, Captain Minho observed. Just friends. The old Galactic Council officially ended on a Tuesday. There was no ceremony, no dramatic speeches. High Councilor Veltar simply sent a message saying the council was dissolved, then disappeared. Some said he went into hiding. Others thought he might have gone to the far edge of the galaxy to think about what had happened. The new Galactic Assembly had its first official meeting 6 months later. Instead of a huge building designed to make people feel small, they met on the integrated space station where everyone could float together as equals. Admiral Choi Minji, now retired from military service, became the Assembly's first coordinator. Her job wasn't to rule anyone, but to make sure all voices were heard. We learned something important, she said in her opening speech. The galaxy is big enough for everyone. Different doesn't mean wrong. Small doesn't mean unimportant. And sometimes the people you reject are the ones who can teach you the most. The Assembly's first law was simple: any species that needed help would receive it. No questions about their past, their politics, or whether they were worthy. Help would be given because it was right. Captain Park Jisung, now commanding a medical ship staffed by doctors from 20 different species, received their first emergency call 3 days later. A previously unknown species had been discovered, dying from a natural plague on a distant world. Same as always? Asked his Kathara navigator, Reske's daughter Kesra. Park smiled, remembering another ship, another rescue, another choice between safety and compassion. Same as always. We bring them home. The galaxy had shunned them all at one time or another. But Earth had shown that home wasn't a place, it was wherever people cared enough to help each other. And now, for the first time in galactic history, everyone belonged somewhere.